Happy Hump Day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you today. And the regular season's behind us, which means we got to wait a little bit for the summer split awards in EU and NA. But that gives us plenty of time to give our predictions and who the main contenders are for MVP and All-Pro. All the good stuff that everyone loves debating.
Yeah, everyone loves to talk about this type of stuff. But hey, I gotta say, I wasn't exactly loving it getting ready and preparing for North America's awards here, thinking that, you know what? I was like, let's get it. Let's get some exciting play. And I looked back and I was like, oh, wait. There wasn't too many exciting plays and players going on in North America this split. A lot of mediocre performances here. Yeah. But you know what? There was some shining stars, and we're definitely going to get to them.
There was a little bit of underwhelming performances across the board, but we got two guys who we believe are the main contenders for MVP in 2018, and the first one comes from the team that finished first in the defending champions. It's Doublelift in the bot lane for Team Liquid, and it's still shocking that he has never gotten an MVP award in the North American scene. He came so close in 2016 summer, but Wilson stole it from him. He's already got 4 or 5. Come on, man.
And let's be honest here. Doublelift should have had it in 2016. You gotta give the ADC some love there. Nope, they
Mid-lane
waited.
Has more impact, man.
They waited for the next year. Said, Arrow, you're the true ADC MVP. Gotta give it to you, buddy. I don't know about that one, but I gotta say, Doublelift, deserving of an MVP this split. The performance that he was able to put out here, given the meta that we had this summer, that was constantly changing, constantly evolving in the bot lane, he was able to stay on top of it. And for the most part, he didn't look great when he had to play some of those mages in the bottom lane.
Nobody did in NA.
Right, especially not in NA. And that's not why you're going to be giving him the MVP vote. The reason why you want to give him the MVP vote are the games that he got to play on the Kai'Sa, the Varus, and the Ashe, because I got to tell you, man, specifically that Kai'Sa, that is that champion that I want to see Doublelift playing. They talked about it before Kai'Sa came out, that Doublelift was actually one of the pro players that they had come into Riot Games to test it, and was one of the dirtiest players on the Kai'Sa. And I loved watching him play it. This split was truly special to see. Doublelift's getting my MVP vote.
I mean, he's been Kai'Sa's been a must-ban champion against him, and he hasn't been a win condition for Liquid this split. He's been the win condition. At times, both solo lanes have struggled mightily. I mean, a lot of the guys across the board have struggled on Liquid, but even when it wasn't a bot-centric meta, they play through Doublelift as teams have done almost any time he's been on the roster, and for the most part, he's delivered except for those Vladimir games, as Mark mentioned. But when he is on an AD carry, he's the featured carry on this squad, and they're funneling a lot of their resources into them, and you saw there with the kill share, and his damage numbers are still up as high as they've always been.
And certainly last weekend was another strong performance from Doublelift, and you saw it in the revenge matchup against Team Solo Mid, that him and Ole dominated that bot lane matchup against the replacements in Sven and Mithy, took them to school, took their lunch money. Man, it was brutal to watch in lane. But of course, Team Solo Mid was able to come out on top with a victory there. But you gotta say, Doublelift was the one factor that was keeping Team Liquid in that game with any chance to come back for a victory.
Doublelift and Ole stomping Sven and Mithy in lane has become a theme here in 2018. The other contender for MVP in the 2018 summer split is probably the front runner, in my opinion, and we're headed to the top lane. 100 Thieves looking for back-to-back MVPs, which would be insane considering it would be different players on the roster. Of course, we're talking about Someday in the top lane. He has been an absolute animal for them, and you see how aggressive he is. He's first in solo kills, and that first blood victim rate, he never dies. He doesn't get caught out. He's the opposite of Huni.
And that's saying something right there, because Huni, he's getting caught out quite a bit here. But Someday is saying this is how you become an import, and this is how you stay safe up here in the top lane. Look, if I wasn't so biased in voting for my own ADC down there in the MVP with Doublelift, I'd be voting for Someday for sure. This performance absolutely screams most valuable player, and was one of the only reasons that 100 Thieves is at the position that they're in right now.
So obviously look at this Jax game, which he single-handedly won for
Disgusting.
them. But there's been a couple of games that he's basically 1v9 on them, and without Someday playing at the level that he has this split, 100 Thieves are not playing in those tiebreakers that they did because they're finishing a lot lower in the standings. Maybe they don't even make playoffs if he's not playing as well as he did in this split. Tanks, carries, the meta changes, it doesn't matter. He adjusts. He has been the carry for 100 Thieves. Also, Dr. Mundo is a stupid champion.
Yeah, well, no argument there about Dr. Mundo being a stupid champion, but for sure, let's talk about Someday and the performance that he had this split. And I want to say that you do need to give some credit to the rest of the members of 100 Thieves. You were looking at the rest of this roster and, members like Anda, Ryu, and that bottom lane of Cody, Sun, and Afram, who have all had games where they've been able to pop off. But consistently for this team, it's absolutely been Someday in the top lane, carrying away, making sure that there is an advantage somewhere on the map for this team to play around and find a way to get a win. Man, if you're not picking Doublelift for MVP, you better be picking Someday.
Definitely the two front runners for that award, and they're the MVP candidates. The other lovely award or honor we love to look at is the All-Pro squads. In 2018 spring, there were no Liquid members in any of the three All-Pro teams. Don't see that happening here in the summer split. Let's take a look at the first team All-Pro in North America, and no surprise, those two MVP candidates we just talked about are definitely on this list.
Yeah, you have to have those two there, and it's, you know what, it's certainly deserved of them. And then, hey, you know what? These other three are also some guys that have put in some really strong performances this split that you have to look at. Dardoch, yes, Dardoch did end up dying quite a bit this split.
Top three.
But that is more so to do with his type of partnership that he had with Huni. He said, if you're going down, man, I'm going to be up in that lane and I'm going to be falling down for the team too. But always was able to find some of those advantages that no other jungler in North America was able to provide for his team. So I really like the play of him on the carries there. And then, of course, you move over to the mid lane, and boy, he seemed like he was coming over just for cash, but he was coming over to play for keeps. Power of Evo put on a show this summer.
Yeah, he came over to NA to completely body these North American resident players. He was so close to carrying Optic to the playoffs, one game away, and PoE, we showed his numbers the other day. They were absolutely insane across the board. First in kill share, damage, not just mid laners, across the entire league. He had a fantastic split on Optic, and he is delivering. He just needs some stronger teammates around him. Then you saw the Liquid bottom lane. That's solely because they have been dumpstering people in the 2v2. Obviously, Sven and Mithy, but there have been way more victims than just that to that Liquid duo.
Yeah, certainly when you look at that bottom lane, no one really has jumped out as far as a duo of who you'd want to be putting on an all-pro team. We've talked about Doublelift's strong performance this split. Ole really hasn't given you a ton, but he has definitely given you enough strong performances combined with Doublelift to say that he deserves that all-pro spot.
Yeah, they definitely both deserving of that spot. The second team All-Pro, well, let's take a look at that one where you've got some more Liquid members. And finally, C9 hits the Rift. Licorice had another fantastic split. Rookie of the split wasn't just a fluke. He's delivering again. Xmithy, I think him and Dardoch, you can kind of exchange either way. They've been the top two junglers in NA this split. Jensen's only played 11 games, but he has been the most consistent, and really, there's been no standout performances in the mid lane aside from PoE.
Right, when you're talking about the mid lane so far this split, if you really were going to stretch it for someone else, you could say Bjergsen, but that would only be the Bjergsen of the last 2 weeks for sure. There's no way you could put him in that conversation given the rest of the split. But yes, you have to find Jensen here as the second mid laner on the All-Pro team. Ever since he's come back into the C9 lineup, he really has provided a difference-making ability for Cloud9, and he's gotten it done on a wide range of champions, anything from the support of Zillion all the way to Assassins. Definitely like what we're seeing from Jensen here, playing for Cloud9, getting it done. Again, one of the premier carries in the NA LCS.
Yeah, and then the bottom lane, you got 100 Thieves, Cody Sun and Afro. Cody Sun has got a little bit of the inting fever the last couple of weeks, and even in those tiebreakers, he was not looking great on Ezreal. But throughout the entire split, he was still one of the more consistent AD carries. There's been a lot of guys who have been face-checking and front-lining. There were a couple guys you consider. Sven, he's been dying a lot. I even was thinking Stixxay, but you just couldn't give it to a guy who lost 8 games in a row. Even Wild Turtles had a pretty solid split, but again, he likes to front line a little bit too much. So it goes to Cody Sun. Wanted to give Blabber some shout-outs there, but he hasn't even played 10 games. At least Jensen's played 11.
You certainly needed to see a little bit more from Blabber as far as more games played here, but so that's why the spot is definitely given to Smithy. Smithy has been such a steady presence here for Team Liquid, so reliable. You can count on him at all times here, especially if you're trying to go for that Baron steal. Always count on Smithy.